get working today. All right, so today we're going to be working solely a positional drill. Okay, I'm not going to do any submissions today. We're going to be focusing on how to move around a person when they turtle up, or the quarter position as sometimes referred to. Okay, so you get guys that will turtle up like this kind of a position, okay, and just really shell up and become very defensive. We're just going to teach you different ways to move around the person in different positions that you can feel stable with, and then next week and the following week we'll start building some submissions from some of the different positions. Okay, so we're going to start in the front headlock because they're going to be turtled up, and then we're going to build from there. So we've already done a series from the front headlock. Okay, so you can check back at some old videos. There we did our Darce choke, our anaconda, Peruvian necktie. Okay, that was all part of that front headlock series. So now we're going to start from there, and then we're going to build a 9-point positional drill. Okay, can I borrow John, please? All right, so how we get to this quarter position, again, like everything, there's a lot of different ways. Maybe you can take a crappy shot and I sprawled on him and then he just shelled up. Maybe I was passing his guard and I almost got past and he turtled to his knees to prevent getting flattened out and pinned, okay? Don't get yourself used to hanging out in these kind of positions, okay? It's just building bad habits where eventually when we start putting gloves on, this is not a good habit. You don't want to hang out in this spot. So you can use it as a transitional period for a split second or for a second or two, but don't get used to just hanging out here, just being a shell and turtle up, okay? Once punches start flying, then you're going to want to move, okay? So don't build this habit of always hanging out here. You can use it quickly if you need to, but don't get in the use of hanging out there, okay? So rotate a little bit for me, John, just for the angle. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to start with the front headlock, okay? We're going to do it with a chin strap, okay? So just so everybody's doing the same, we're going to have our right knee down, okay? You don't want to bring it too close to his head because it's going to be very easy for him to start to grab and, work the takedown, okay? So we want to have it, a little farther away from him just to start. I'm going to put my shoulder, that same shoulder, right in the knot of his neck where it meets the spine, right there. Boom. Okay, I'm going to cup his chin and I want to lock his head in like a football right there, right? Perfect. Okay. Other leg can be up here like a kickstand, right? Eventually, as you do this live, you want to be up on both toes. That way you can put maximum amount of driving force into his neck. But just so we're drilling, just so that it's not like crappy the whole time for the guy on bottom, we can have one knee down, okay? But you're more than welcome to do it here from the tripod position, okay? So we're here, I got my chin strap, I got my shoulder position, my free hand, I want to cup the tricep close to the elbow, not up here by the armpit, close to the elbow, right there. Pretty much where his meets his knee, right here. This is going to be hard to really cup the back of the elbow because it's usually connected to his knee. So just find that right there, perfect. All right, so this is going to be position 1, the front headlock series. Perfect, okay? Now, we're going to start to spin and we're going to work to a knee ride. So what I want to do is I want to pull him away from this position so I open up the space between his knee and elbow. So I'm going to give him a little tug, open up that space right there. My kickstand knee is going to insert and I'm going to pivot and I'm going to square up to him right here. Perfect. Making sure that I'm owning the space between his knee and elbow. So if he tries to lock his elbow back down and control that space, my knee is there, okay? So this is position 2. Front knee ride. So I got the knee ride, I'm facing to the front, and I'm covering his hips one underneath that. I don't want to have both arms over here, and I don't want to have both arms over here. So I'm kind of splitting his body in half. Perfect. It's important that I own my own weight. Okay, if I put too much weight on John and he starts to move, I'm going to need to usually post to catch myself before I can do anything from there. So try to kind of support your own weight right here. So my weight's kind of back a little bit. So if John were to disappear, nothing happens to me. Okay, so I'm supporting my own weight. I'm just covering him like a blanket. Okay, so that's position 1. Okay, let's rotate a little bit. Right here, perfect. Okay, so from here, again, chin strap, post leg, knee is not close, but not too far away. You can be up on your toes if you want to. Okay, I pull, insert, and pivot right from here. Okay, and every one of these positions is going to offer a series of submissions and even more importantly, like ground and pound. Right, this is what you can use for punching here. Boom, boom, back fist, hammer fist to get the person to open up. Okay, so every one of these positions, you can have a spot where you can kind of play around with different strikes if you want to have that kind of perspective. MMA, self-defense, whatever. Okay, so that's position 2. Okay, so we go start with 1, we go to position 2. Then from here, I'm going to switch my hand position, and I'm going to switch my knee position. Now I'm going to go rear knee ride. All right, so I'm doing the same thing. Knee is inserted between his knee and elbow. I'm facing his hips, and then I'm covering right here, just like this. Again, I'm not putting all my weight on him. My weight is a little bit back, and I'm just covering him like a blanket. Again, we got strikes right here. I can fall back for submissions. I can start attacking the legs, which is usually going to be more likely it's going to happen when you're in this rear knee ride. Okay? So that's positions 1 and 2. There's going to be 9. All right? Once we get to position 5, it's just going to be a reverse order of the ones that we're doing this way. Okay? So once you get to the other side, it's just a mirror version. But we still go in sequential numbers. So we'll just start with positions 1, 2, and 3. Position 1, pull, insert, rotate. Position 2, Again, strikes, got submissions. Switch the hand position, just precedes the knee switch just a little bit. Okay, so as the arms switch, my knee switch. Again, always have a nice post foot, so I can push if I need to, and I got my base underneath me. Boom, right here. Okay, so we're just gonna start with positions 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll add 4 and 5, and then we'll explain how it kind of goes back to the front headlock as we work around the clock. Okay, so positions 1, 2, and 3. Any questions? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, time. All right, cool. Very, very easy, very straightforward. Okay, so a couple things with the turtle position. Okay, you generally want to have your knees relatively wide for the most part, right? If my knees are really close together, it's very easy for the person to just kind of push me and force me to use my hands to post, and that's what opens up getting submitted, okay? So you generally want to have your knees relatively on the wide side, and the elbows would generally be inside of your knees. Okay? You could do it outside of your knees if you want to, okay? But again, we always talk about when our elbows are close to our ribs, we're usually in a better position. You know, we're protecting our armpits. So elbows inside, we can control that space a little bit more. Elbows out, it's okay, but again, you just notice that your elbows are farther away from your body. It's a lot easier to create leverage points from there. Okay, so just a couple little things. When you're in a turtle, usually I'm here, but not for very long. Okay, just use it as a transition period. Okay, so again, now, John, please. All right, so we're moving on from position 3. Position 4 is going to be a square ride, okay? It's going to be very familiar, like a high school wrestling referee's position, okay? It's very, very similar to that, almost exactly the same, okay? So, just for the camera view, let's go this way. Perfect, right there. All right, perfect. So we got here, we're starting off with our front headlock, okay? I pull, open up the space, I go inside knee ride, okay? Perfect. All right, switch the hands, switch the knee position right from here, okay? So now for the square ride, the knee is down, okay? It's going to stay down, and all it's going to do is going to rotate, and it's going to lay parallel to the person's same knee. Right? So my right knee and his right knee. So as I move around the circle, I'm right here. Okay, so I'm parallel with this leg here on the bottom, and this leg here is squared off to him, right? So I got this right here, this right here. So I got like a 90-degree angle opening with my hips. Okay? It's very important that this foot here, this back foot, be careful letting that track kind of in between his feet right here. All right? Anytime his foot is in between his feet, it's usually very easy for him to start to roll over his shoulder and start to get me into leg entanglements from there. Okay? So just be aware, just for the camera, when we're in our square ride, okay, usually have the foot outside of his feet or outside of the other spot. Okay? Just so that no matter if he dive rolls, it's not going to be right in between his legs, ready to get, into a leg entanglement. So I generally like to be here because it's just a little bit more kind of like covering his whole body. But this is totally fine too. Okay, but again, I'm always supporting my own weight. I'm not here like this on top of him. The second he starts to try to Peterson roll, I might have to post, or I'm just kind of late to the whole series. So always try to kind of own your own weight right here. Right, so from here, we're adding 4 and 5. So that was 4. So position 1, position 2, position 3, and then watch this foot. It just goes in a circle. Right here, position 4. And again, here's my hammer fist, my back fist, my body shots, okay? All right, this is a good position. Then from 4, we go to our frog ride or crab ride. All right, so right from here, my hands go on his back, and I'm going to find that little angle where his hip is, and I'm going to insert my knee. And then depending on the body type, maybe your feet are floating, maybe the feet are on the ground, doesn't really matter too much, but I want good tall posture here. Okay, I don't want to be like leaning forward here. The second he goes to tripod, right, I got to put my hands on the ground and post myself. Okay, if I'm here and he goes to tripod, right, I can kind of balance him like riding a bull. And if he does, then it's very easy to throw my hooks in. Okay, but I want to have good tall posture. That way I'm not trying to catch myself from falling over. Okay? Angle. Right. So we're here. Position 1, position 2. I got strikes. Boom, I got submissions, right? Regular chokes. I can start to trap this arm, go in the crucifix position. Position 3. I got back fists. Right? I can step back and attack the guillotine. I can start by attacking the truck. Okay? And from here, position 4, square ride. Position 5, hands on him. Frog ride right here. Good tall posture, maintaining my hands on his back. Okay, riding basically like a bull. All right, and then from here, we're going to work the progression back down to the front headlock, but it's just going to be a mirrored version of what we just did. So it's going to be very, very simple, okay? So let's add steps 4 and 5 to the frog ride, and then we'll build our last sequence from there, okay? Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, time. Good. All right. So just finish off by going back down and proceeding to get back to the front headlock, okay? So you can start either direction. You can start going counterclockwise or clockwise, doesn't really matter. Once we go over this, we're gonna do both ways, okay? So let's start at position 3. So reverse knee ride, right, position 3, okay? Then we go to square ride, position 4, okay? I go to frog ride right here, okay? Then 5, 6, 7, and 8 would be just the mirrored version, okay? So if we went from square ride with my right knee down, frog ride, now I go square ride with my left knee down, okay? Very simple. We're just progressing our way down back to the front headlock, okay? And that whatever preceded the square ride was the rear side knee ride or reverse knee ride. So a lot of times too, if they're able to keep their elbow tight right here, I can either use my hand to force space there, okay? Or I can bring my knee into this little space right here where his hip line is. Even if he keeps his elbow inside as tight as possible, there's almost always this little space right here where I can insert my fist. So if I ever have issues getting my knee in, start here. Don't try to fit your knee in here, right? Start here, right here. And then I can drive it and get it through, okay? So if anybody's ever being really, really tight with their elbows, there's almost always that little bit of space, okay? Perfect. So we go from frog to square on the other side, we go reverse knee ride, and then front knee ride. Okay? And from here, the other hand will be the chin strap. Okay? So my right hand was the chin strap starting off. Now I'm going to come around with my left hand, and then find that good position with my shoulder, and now I'm right here back to the tri-step. Okay? So that just goes 5, 6, 7, 8, or just the mirrored version of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Very simple. Okay? And then from here, I want us to work counterclockwise now. So don't get used to only starting going clockwise. So we'll do it clockwise, and then get to position 8, and then go counterclockwise back to, so after we do a whole rotation, I start right from here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll be 9 because I should have started with 1, but that's the idea, okay? So after we get to 5, work our way back down to the front headlock, and then work the same series of movements back down to the front headlock on the other side. Okay, so I want everybody to do that whole rotation, counterclockwise and clockwise twice, and then switch. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we switch, okay? And then as you get more fluid in it, pick up the pace a little bit and turn it into a little bit of a, a little bit of a burnout, okay? Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3.